Welcome, everybody, to the Agacad's webinar, Supercharge Your Revit Library Sharing via New Cloud Platform. And a very short agenda of what will happen today. So it'll be a short overview of Agacad, live demonstration of the tool and all the advances, takeaways, and then Q&A session. Today, I will be your host. My name is Alex. I'm 31 years old and I'm a BIM application engineer here in Agacad. Originally, I'm an HVAC engineer and I worked with system design and installation since 2014. All the gained knowledge gave me an advantage in understanding our clients' needs. I've joined Agacad 4 years ago, and now I'm responsible for the MEP related tools, that being cut opening, MEP hangers, and our most general solution, Smart Browser. Together with the product development, my job is to define workflows with our solutions to solve the needs of our customers so you can achieve the desired results. And that is my job. You can reach me out via this email if you have any questions directly. As a company, we create applications for Autodesk Revit based on the needs of the world's leading BIM practitioners. And our main goal is to eliminate tasks that do not create value. We have developed the widest range of BIM software, including wood framing, metal framing, precast concrete design, smart documentation that helps you to organize your documentation and project, MEP system design, panel packer, Excel to Revit, some additional tools, and of course, our most general solution that I'll be speaking about today, Smart Browser. And today I'll be speaking, of course, about its future. This tool was created for library creation and element management and modification inside of the library to help people standardize their libraries and access elements easily through the Revit. And now it's time for it to evolve. In more detail, what we'll cover in this webinar: introducing the updated version of Smart Browser with its new interface, navigation in the new library management that comes with the new interface, and our grand opening, introduction of new solution, Agacad Cloud, for connecting, storing, sharing libraries via cloud. And of course, through all of that, I hope I will be able to introduce the benefits that the Smart Browser and Agacad Cloud platform can bring to you. And with that, I will go into the live demonstration. Here is my Revit. And at this moment, I would like to start a small poll. Have you ever tried Smart Browser tool? I'll launch it. It should be visible right now on your screen. Okay, thank you for answering. And my screen should be back now with the Revit. So since there are so many new users, people who never seen it, I'll give a general introduction of it as well while showing the new interface. So with the Smart Browser tool, the main function of it, of course, is library creation and library management. You can do that by clicking on Smart Family Browser. And this is the window that will open, that you will see when opening. And already those people who've used Smart Browser will see some differences. The top panel changed, the middle changed a little bit, and only one actually active button in the beginning. It'll be the browser options. So the biggest change that we've made was that we've introduced library view where previously only the families were. So now here you will see the libraries that you have. Before, you had to click on a drop-down list, and here would be the list of all your libraries, and you have to select one. Now you can see all your libraries, select one, go inside of that library, select the elements you want to use, and go back. And quick search, when it's working with families, it's also working now with the libraries as well. So when entering some words, you will do a quick search. So yeah, this is the major change, library view, and you can open the library and use the elements from inside of it. We'll touch on that a little bit deeper after we go into the options. We've changed our options as well. Since we've received a lot of feedback that it's complicated to create a new library and it's a little bit confusing, we've introduced step-by-step library creation process. We've also introduced convenient library management, such as deleting files, adding something. Also introduced some missing general functionality, for example, deleting backups of the elements that are inside of your libraries. And we've tried to make it as clear as possible for the user. And let's go into the options to see how it looks right now. Here's the window, and now it consists out of two parts. On the left part, you will see the library tree. So here, all the libraries that you have loaded to the smart browser. And on the right is everything that you can do with those libraries. So the very simple example, you can check library information by clicking on information, and you'll see all the information about that library. Switch library and information switches as well. Let's do it step by step, and I'll show you how to create a library with our new version of Smart Browser. You just need to go into Create, Share a New Library for Smart Browser locally, and library can be created locally either on your computer or in a company network. And in that way, it can be shared within the company through the local network. Let's write a name for that library. Webinar library, sounds a good name. And then we have to select where our tool should create the main library file. I'll go and do that on my desktop under folder, which is not suspiciously named Library Webinar. Clicking Next, then you have to select folders with families that will be loaded to the library. So it's pretty easy as well. I just choose family folder. There are a lot of subfolders. Our tool will load everything what's inside of the main folder that you have chosen. Clicking OK. And then our tool will also create some additional PNGs for the families. So you just need to select where you want to save those. I'll do it in a neighboring folder, PNG. Also, you can create 3D DVF files for a 3D preview of the families through the Revit. Next, entering some information about the company, the person who created, description, and notes, which are not compulsory. I'll just write none. Also, as you've probably noticed, you can select the image for your library that will represent it the best. If you do not choose any image, the default image will be selected. So let's stick with the default one for the webinar. And I'll start the library creation. So during the library creation, our tool will open every family, read all of its parameters so that it will know later what to show you. And you will see some windows that are showing that families are upgraded, but actually they're not upgraded and saved. They're just upgraded for the Revit to read them, and then they stay in their respective versions. So if you have families of versions 2018, 16, 15, our tool will not upgrade those unless you wish to do that specifically. So they'll stay in their respective versions. So for the webinar, I'll create a small sample of the library just to showcase what are the possibilities with the library as itself. So here you've seen the library creation process, clicking on OK, and the Smart Browser will at once open that library. So this webinar library, if I click back, here it is. And the library itself, what you can do with it. First of all, you can, of course, search for the elements. If you enter some letters, it will search for that in the family name or the type names. So in this case, I like to mention that just as with Windows search, sometimes it's better to write less information and you'll get more results than to try writing too much, making some mistake. And if you make handle, it's wrong and nothing will be found. It's just enough to write hand and you will see handles. The second thing is that you can browse through the families by selecting their category, their folder where they're located, the unit system, or doing that by any parameter by clicking on this button. So as you can see here I have my folder system, family folder, detail items folder, and so on. So you can just click on the folder name and find the families if that's convenient for you. Or you can change organization. There are all those things that I've mentioned before, versions, unit systems, and so on. And you can say that you want to organize your library according to the category. And in that way, it will be easier for you to search. So I do organize by category. and I see all the categories of elements that are in my library. So by clicking detail items, I see all the detail items at once. It's that easy. More than that, I really like doing sorting by unit system to see if my library is consistent. And by doing it primary filter, clicking OK, I can see that I have metric families and some imperial families. And how our tool determines that is that according to parameters. So here units are millimeters, as you can see. And if I go into the imperial families, these are feet and fractional inches, definitely not metric. Later, it is possible to standardize units with our tool as well, just with a few clicks. And let me go back to my category view. Here are all the families. So now, once you found the family that you want to use, what you can do with it? You've already seen you can open the parameters to view those parameters and see if that's exactly what you wanted to use in your project. Also, if the family has multiple types, like this one, you can select to load specific types, not all family at once. For example, family has type catalog and it has 100 types. You can just click on choose types to load, and those will be loaded into the project, and you can place the family. Super simple, doesn't overload your project. Additionally, you can just drag and drop the family to use it in your project. So very simple to use. If you want to open family and edit it, just click on open family. Or you can download multiple families by clicking Control button and selecting multiple families. So now that we've looked at the families and how you can work with those, how fast it is, let's see how we solved the other needs with the browser organization, making it more clear. One of the things is that now you have Manage Selected Library button, which will open menu deeper. And here you can see some additional information and change some additional information. So for example, in connected folders, you will see where the library file is, which family folders are connected, and where the thumbnails are located. You can edit library information if you want to at any time. You can choose to update library. You can choose to update it together with thumbnails. If you've missed to create 3D DVF files, you can choose to create 3D DVF files. One additional option that we're giving is delete backups. And let me see in one of the, yes, in this library, I have some backups, and that will be, if I'm not wrong, size test. If I go into delete backups, I have these two backups, which sum up to 1.2 megabytes. By doing delete, our tool just cleans that information. Also, you can choose to delete library with all the files that are connected to that library. And now speaking about the update, there's one update that's a little bit deeper here. It's a full update with additional features, or you can just do a quick update, how it works. For example, here, I will take this family and do a copy of it. So there is a new family in the folder structure. I can just do quick update, and it will be loaded into my library. One new element. So it was size library. And you can see I have two units, one with original name and the second one with the copy. Now here, also one more additional feature. If you can see this green bubble, we are introducing one notification system that includes two types of bubbles. One is green, one is yellow one. The green one means that library existed for some time and you've added a new element that previously was not in that library. And this bubble will notify you of that. Also, if you do some changes by hand to the family or through the smart browser and update the library, the bubble will be of yellow color. Speaking about the updates, with our tool, you can batch modify families. So for example, selecting all four of those, clicking to modify families, and you can modify their parameters, type names, and all of that in one space where it's easy to compare the parameter values. So it'll be just a table where you can change values and load those values into the families. We've had a lot of webinars on that one. So if you're interested in how the modification happens, please go to the YouTube and search for virtually any smart browser webinar. Okay, and that's what update does. And the last feature that we've introduced is remove selected library. So if the library is in your list and you don't want to see it anymore, but you don't want to delete any of the files that are associated with that library, just click on remove selected library. Save and close. And the library that I've just created, the webinar library, is not in my smart browser anymore. So these are all the main changes of smart browser that come with a new interface. Now I will go back to my presentation. And now the grand opening, our new cloud platform. I guess that's what most of you came here for. And what were our goals when creating that new platform? We wanted to have a new dedicated environment where users would be able to store their families and share those. So it's a library storage in cloud, and give an ability to manage user access to those libraries. So the users would be able to control who can see exactly which library and whether they can create new libraries in your space. The smart browser combined with the cloud and all the access and all the control systems inside of the cloud, it's transforming into its new form Agacad Cloud with a library manager tool inside of the Revit to upload those libraries into the cloud and control them in cloud through the Revit. And where everything begins, it begins at cloud@agacad.com. This will be the page for the Agacad Cloud. Here you will be prompted to register, create an account, and I already have my account, so I can log in. That's how the interface will look for now, and we'll be doing more and more updates with it as the time goes. So here, once you log in, you will be given a specific space, and it will be called default workspace. With all the trials, you will get 100 megabytes of free space to store your libraries that you can fill with any families that you want. So workspace is basically the space where you can create your libraries. My workspace is empty, and for example, there's a default workspace on which we've did some testing, and it's full of different libraries. Also, with cloud libraries, you can favorite them, and there will be one additional category of libraries. Those will be the public libraries. You will be able to select to put a one tick mark, and you will make library publicly accessible. When launching the Agacad Cloud platform, there will be only 4 libraries in the beginning as public, and those will be our MEP hanger libraries. So how you can control user access to your workspace. For that, you just need to click on workspace, your workspace, and this button. Here you can choose to add people to your workspace and what they can do. So by entering email here, just to show how it looks. And once you enter the email of the person, you will be able to add that person and give them rights of what they can do. So read, write, or manage, and how it's all connected to the Revit. To see that, I will open the library manager tool, which looks similar to Smart Browser, but has more options. Again, to browse libraries, we click on Family Browser, and you will at once notice some differences. First of the differences is that you can log in into your cloud account by clicking on this button. Then in the drop-down, you will see your local libraries, public libraries, your favorite libraries, that you favorited, and all the workspaces where you've added as a person who can see those workspaces or create libraries in those workspaces. So if I click on my workspace, it's empty. I'll be just creating a library there right now. And if I click on the workspace of my colleague, I can see his libraries and make one of those as favorite. So now if I go to favorite libraries, I can see that library right here. Let's proceed to creation of a new library I'll be creating in my workspace. You just need to click on Browser Options and create a library. And here, where the difference comes, you'll be able to choose to create library in the cloud. So let's do this similar as I did with the local library, webinar library. I'll store it in my workspace. Next, similar steps, choosing which families should be added and where our tool should store additional files. Next, company name. You will notice with the library manager, and when creating cloud library, person created will be automatically filled according to your account name. All the rest data you can choose to fill or not to fill, that's your free choice. And to select some preview image, let's select one of the PNGs from my folder. This is a preview image of one of the families, but it will suit just to represent this library. Also, here's that tick mark, which you can tick to make library publicly visible and accessible. Later, you'll be able to choose to turn off it being public or on in the cloud platform. Great. And the tool will go exactly over the same process of the library creation, except that it will be loaded to the cloud and stored in the cloud. I want to mention that now, when we will launch the Agacad Cloud Platform, we will keep expanding its functionality, and we plan to make it work not only with the family libraries, but also add some additional features, connect additional tools to it. And not a lot of people know, but MEP Hangers tool is actually already in some way connected to Agacad Cloud. That being that if you download a MEP Hangers tool and you want to download the sample families, they will be downloaded from the Agacad Cloud Platform. And here we have our new library. So if I go to Alex Test, here's my new library, exactly the same information, and I can use it exactly in the same way as I would use my local library. So drag, drop, and here's your element. Additionally, once the library is created, you can access it through the web, of course. And if you want to, you can download any family from your library to the computer where you've logged in. What else can be done? Library can be downloaded from the library manager as well by doing right-click, and you can choose to download the library, make it favorite, or change the view how you see the libraries. So if you do the list, you will see some additional information about that library. So that being webinar library, company name, the description, number of elements, and the library size, so you know what you will be opening and what you will be working with. So very simple, very easy to use, very easy to create libraries that you can use from any computer once you have access to Agacad Cloud. Back to the presentation, scheme of work of what can be done with the Agacad Cloud and storing libraries there. So if there is a company working, they will be able to have their company workspace and through there share access to different users inside of the company, as well as connect maybe some freelancers or additional companies to their libraries and share specific libraries with the specific people. Also, they will be able to connect some maybe Revit family creators who will create personalized libraries in their account that will be accessible for everybody, but will be created by the person who's outside of the company and who will not see any other library inside of the company, only the one that that person has created. And as well as that, creating of public libraries can be done by any user, and those libraries will be accessible by every user of Agacad Cloud. So what is the differences with Smart Browser and Library Manager? With both tools, you can create library files locally or in a network. If you work in a company where information security is at the most concern and you don't want to store your families anywhere outside of your companies, you have that option both with the Smart Browser and Library Manager. With both tools, you have easy way to access your families and use them inside of the Revit simply by drag and drop and very flexible searching possibilities. And that's what I mentioned, better family browsing possibilities. You can reach your families way faster through the Smart Browser rather than going through the folders, searching for the specific correct folder where the family is located. You can do all of that very fast with filtering of the families. Batch family modifications. That's what our tool is famous for, that you can modify a lot of family parameters at once for many families. In that way, you can standardize families, enter specific codes. You can even export parameters of the families into Excel, fill the data inside of the Excel, and import it as a change file and change the families. That can be done both in Smart Browser and in the Library Manager. And of course, connection to the new Agacad Cloud platform can be done only with the Library Manager, creating, storing libraries in the cloud, as well Library Manager, and flexible user access management is also available in the Library Management. And yes, with that, I want to say that you can download trials of our tools through the Tools for BIM doc. Just go to this page. You can copy it later from the handout. You can download our doc, get a 14-day free trial. If you want to try and test out the Agacad Cloud more extensively inside of your company, please reach out to us, to the info@agacad.com or directly to me, Aleksandras@agacad.com, and we will try to find you an individual plan how you can test it out. And of course, to automate your workflows quickly, you can book a 15-minute personal meeting where we will discuss exactly which needs you or your company has and how we can help to solve those. And I hope to see you during those meetings. And summary, download the free trials because those are for everybody. Contact us for the individual plan if you want to get that for your company, and book a personal meeting to discuss your needs. And I guess that will be it for today. Thank you everybody for joining a lot, and I hope to see you during the live meetings.
Agacad, building BIM together.